Okay, so I'm going to jump back over to the receive here, show you a couple of things, and we'll do some recording. So in the top left, you'll see the pencil in a square icon. That's just letting you know that you're in the draw mode. If you have notes already on screen and you select the next option over, that's your like select mode, and you should be able to drag and select multiple notes at the same time, and then you can move them by literally dragging them in a new direction. Relatedly, if you're drawing notes in, you can literally grab the end of it to make it longer or shorter, and you can just move them around at will. And you tap them to create them and tap them to get rid of them. So looks like we got an open hat here. I'm going to change the bar length to 2. I'm going to clear the note. I'm going to go over how you record in real time. So I'm going to first of all arm the metronome, and we're going to hit record. Make sure I got my sounds on my keyboard, and I'm going to hit play, and it will start recording. Okay, so I made a little beat. One thing to note, since we're here, if you noticed when I hit play, it started recording immediately, and I had to wait for the full bar to complete before I started to record because I wanted to make sure I came in at the right time. It does have a count in option. The only reason it's not working right now is because in the gear icon, Ableton Link is enabled, as we discussed. When you enable Ableton Link, for some reason it stops the count in, and it must be because it's trying to sync with external apps or devices. So I'll disable it temporarily, go back into the device, and you'll see when I hit record now, it gave me a 4 count before it started. So that's just something to be aware of. On the plus side of Ableton Link, I got Ableton Link when I started using Audio Bus, and I noticed the functionality accidentally. But when you have Ableton Link enabled, a nice feature is that you can actually minimize Gadget or even lock your screen and just put your phone in your pocket while you're listening to your song. When Ableton Link is not enabled, that doesn't work. You cannot go out of the app or it'll stop audio. So, it's not that big of a deal to have to disable it temporarily while you're recording a piece. I usually leave it enabled, and I actually don't use the count in much just because I'm lazy and apparently don't want to go to the gear to turn Ableton Link off and on like I'm doing right now. I'm going to re-enable it. All right. So that's how I recorded a little quick beat. I'm going to now record a little melody line, and we will discuss recording automations. Let's just hit play here. So I'm just going to record in a little improvised melody. All right, so we got a little simple melody line, nothing crazy, nothing super impressive. While I'm on the screen, I just want to let you know I'm on bar 1 here. You can swipe left and right to scroll through the whole melody line. You don't have to jump between bars using the top navigation. If you don't see a note, you might have to scroll up or down because it might be a little bigger than the view you're seeing. Obviously, you can also minimize the device and then you can see more at once. All right, so we got a little beat and we got a little melody. So let's go over how to record automations. It's super simple. It's basically as easy as it sounds. You press record, you adjust a knob on the screen, and it records it in real time. It's similar to motion sequences in Korg Volcas or some of the other Korg devices. The nice thing with Korg Gadget is that you can do as many as you want, and I think it's a little more flexible than on the Volcas. But so what I'll do here is I'm going to go to the filter screen, and what I'm going to do is I'll do 3 separate passes as it loops. I'm going to record changing the cutoff filter, the resonance, and then the envelope itself, and you'll see that it records all these motions. Okay, so I just recorded them in 3 passes. When I hit play now, and you probably already saw it, but you can watch the knobs and they will do exactly what I just recorded. So you can get some very interesting results, and in fact, that's one of my favorite things about Gadget. You can get some very creative sounds by adjusting stuff as you're recording. In fact, recently I was recording some automations on a beat, and I was just playing around and I forgot that the record button was armed, and I was literally just, as it looped over and over again, I was making changes and recording and inadvertently recording the changes I was making. And so in that case, it ended up creating like some really cool, interesting, glitchy stuff, because I was recording automation changes, but since it kept recording, I was changing things I'd already changed, and so it was only changing bits and pieces of it in weird ways. So that was kind of a happy accident. Again, when you hit function, you can choose your clear note option or your clear automation. I don't believe it's selective at all, though. You can't, choose to get rid of one automation and not another. So that's just something to be aware of. If you want to fix something, I don't know, you'd have to re-record an automation, basically, I guess. Or I guess you could try to use the undo, which takes me into, I believe, the last thing I want to discuss. Let's discuss using undo. It actually is easier to demonstrate in the drum machine. So we'll have a 2-bar loop here. What I'm going to do is record a quick beat, and then I'm going to show you a little quirk of the undo functionality. So that one I didn't like the take, so I'm just going to hit undo, and it gets rid of all your notes. Let's try that one more time. Okay, so I like that better, but I want to add some more stuff. So let's hit play again and start recording. So that was kind of cool, but I'm not totally into that clap sound, so I'm going to undo that. Oh crap, everything disappeared. What's up with that? Well, that's the little quirk of the undo function. I'm going to hit redo to put the notes back on. I'm going to get rid of the claps manually, and then I'm going to show you how you can avoid that problem. All you have to do is, we're back to this now. And, let's say you like your basic beat, but you want to add on to it without that undo issue. Simply go out to this screen again, and then come back in, and then record it. So I meant to hit the clap, but I hit the hi-hat instead, but you get the gist. It recorded that. Now if I hit undo, it only gets rid of the new notes. So just be aware of that when you're recording. It's really nice to be able to sit there and record in real time, but just be careful. You don't want to get rid of all your notes at once. Again, you can redo and then fix it, but it's just something to note. All you got to do is go back out of the screen, come back in, record new additions, and you don't have to worry about your existing notes getting deleted. I will show you the Zurich real quick. This is an audio device, so you don't see a piano roll editor, but let's say I'll just record. So I gotta go out here, arm it, then I can come in here and record. So I'm talking, there should be some audio showing up when I'm done. And there you go. There's the audio. And you can, apply effects, the insert effects, just like any other channel. So we'll apply some phaser here. So I'm talking, there should be some audio showing up when I'm done. So I'm talking, there should be some audio showing up when I'm done. So there you go. That's how that works. I'll show you one other thing. Let's delete this channel. And then I'm going to add a Chicago, which is a nice bass module. It's kind of like a TB303, I believe, or Rebirth for the old school people. You can use it for bass lines as well as for melody lines. It has a built-in arpeggiator that's really nice. So let's say this is what I was explaining before. I can actually copy the MIDI data from scene 1, track 2, and paste it into track 3. So now I have two different devices playing the melody line. So you get the gist. It's nice to be able to do stuff like that. And I mean, I could copy the same notes into another device. I mean, there's a lot of options here. I can take the beat from here and copy it down to this channel, copy this down to here, copy this down to there. It's very easy to copy and paste is the point. So on that note, I think that's Korg Gadget in a nutshell. If there was a downside at all to this application, it would be this. Most digital audio programs that people use, like Ableton or Pro Tools or Cubase or even GarageBand, most of them in the arrangement mode, time moves from left to right. You see your song laid out in time. And if you wanted to record a new melody line on an instrument or some vocals, you just put the time marker where you want to start and press record and then go to it. Well, you can do that in Gadget, but the problem is that everything is loop based. So I'm going to turn the loop function off here. You'll see it's going to play through however many loops that it's supposed to play, and then go to the next scene. So it doesn't allow you to record vocals or melody lines or anything in real time alongside that. You would have to fit them within the bar. Otherwise, it's going to cut when it goes to the next scene or when the loop starts over. So that's a bit of, it's a bit of a downer, but, obviously it's not the end of the world. You can export your data to another program and then go to town on whatever other additions you want to add to it. I mean, most people aren't going to use Gadget and finish everything in here anyways. Although it is very powerful and you can produce full-on tracks. Especially if you're just doing electronic music and you don't need external instruments, or if you're doing very genre-specific, dance music or something like that. This is a great platform for that. Anyhow, Korg Gadget rules. This has been Matt Robeson. This is how I make music on Gadget and an iPhone. Super easy. It rules.